You're part of the photographic community that gives me so much, so it's time to give back to all of you. It's my mission to inspire and pass on my knowledge, passion and skills. You can subscribe using the watermark button on the screen. Ring your bell to make your subscription count. Please stay to the end and comment. It's your feedback that keeps the channel going.
Well, good morning everybody. I was kind of hoping today, when I was doing some planning last night, if I get a chance I'll put some of that planning and some of those maps up on the screen later on, that today I was going to get a bit of decent sunrise. There was always a little bit of doubt there, because whenever it says that it's going to be sun and a bit of cloud, you can't predict where that cloud's going to be. And today, as you can see there behind me, the sun is the cloud is kind of right down on the horizon, and that kind of means that when it peaks its head up above the curve of the earth, unfortunately we're not going to get that much in the way of a glorious sunrise. But there is a little bit of colour in the sky, and you never know, that sky might just kick off. So I'm going to take a bit of time to find a composition and see what we can sort out, and then I'm going to get back to you in a minute, and if it all comes good, you never know, I might be able to share something with you. So I've got to crack on, because we've probably got about another 15-20 minutes or so, and then it should be sunrise. So I'll see you guys in a minute. Well guys, I did take a picture. I can't get comfortable. Well, I did take a picture, but as you can see from the sun behind me and from the sort of clouds that we've got and everything, that it didn't really kick off. It's about 7:10 now. Sunrise was just around 10-15 minutes ago. So it's not really going to change much. Now I've just had a look on photo pills, which have got an augmented reality part on it, just to see where the sun's going to track. And looking at where the cloud bank is, it's going to be about 8 o'clock before the sun peaks above it. Now 8 o'clock's not too bad, and the sun is reasonably low, so I think I'm going to hang around for a little bit longer and have a bit of breakfast, and then just see if the sun comes up and illuminates any of this landscape a bit. If we get a little bit more light on it or something, maybe we can make something from this composition. So we'll see how that goes. I'm going to show you the picture anyway, and if it does all change, then yeah, I'll show you the second one as well, maybe go into a bit more detail. But we're just going to have to see what happens. The cloud's starting to look quite nice over there, but there's no light on anything else in the foreground or any interest. So we've got a sky and nothing to use against it. And it's just down to this really thick bank of cloud on the horizon. So we'll let the sun come up a bit higher, have a cup of coffee and some porridge, and who knows, maybe we'll get something in a minute. Well, as you can see guys, looking at the way that I'm lit up, the sun has broken through that cloud bank now, and we have got some quite nice lighting coming across the landscape. Certainly the foreground's lit up quite well. Unfortunately, my main subject on the horizon is still a little bit, still not lit quite as well as I would like it to be. And I'm having a bit of a dilemma now. I can't decide whether I'm going to move from here, carry on the rest of my walk, or just wait for that light to lift a bit more, because it is gradually coming up. Now I have been taking some pictures already, and just to give you an idea of what I've been doing, I've been shooting pictures. I've been shooting about f11, and I've been bracketing anywhere from 1/10 of a second all the way up to about 100th of a second, just to make sure that I get some detail in that sky. The concern that I've got with this picture is that because the sun's on the right hand side, and I wanted this light coming in from the right and side lighting up the rocks and the tor in the background, that the right hand side of the picture in fact is going to be very bright, and the left hand side isn't going to be so bright. But this rock that you can see out here, in fact you can probably see it from where you are, on the left hand side, is going to be quite bright as well, so hopefully that's going to add a little bit of sort of like tonal balance to the scene. Not quite sure whether or not this is going to be a black and white picture or whether it's going to be a colour picture. Initially, when I came up here this morning, I was going to shoot colour. It was going to be all about the colour in the sky and the sunrise and that warm sort of golden hour. But we're past golden hour. We're definitely past sunrise, and it's quite good. It's actually quite windy up here as well at the moment. I'm starting to get a little bit more light on the right hand side of the tour. I think I've really kind of just got it slightly wrong in that where I am, the angle's slightly off. So I think I'm going to call it a day and pack up from here, and I'll show you the final picture that I took. It'll be a bit better than the first one, and then when we get packed up, we'll carry on with the rest of our walk, which is a bit of a scouting mission really, and we'll just see if we can pick out some other compositions and some other ideas on the way, or if not for now, maybe for the future. Okay, let's pack everything up then. Well, that's more like it. The second picture's coming out quite well. I think with the first picture, you know, I completely misjudged the angle of the sun, and in hindsight I think that'll be a much better late afternoon and sunset picture rather than a sunrise. But where I am now, I've got a lot of harsh side lighting coming across. You can probably see it on the side of the camera, on the side of my face. But what it's doing is it's really illuminating the hills, the tors in the background. And I've set up this diagonal composition where we've got some rocks on the right hand side here in the foreground, and then we've got the tor in the distance, and that ridge sort of linking them together. Excuse me. And that sort of creates that nice diagonal composition going back into the distance. So I'm hoping that in post-processing I can pull out some detail in those tors and have those as really quite strong diagonal parts of the image, and bring those out and let that sort of work the composition. So I've been shooting an exposure bracket, and let me just call this up on the screen for you. So I've been shooting from 1/200th of a second to f11 because it really is quite bright, just to get that sky in, and all the way down to 20th of a second where the sky's blown out, but we've got some really good lighting on the foreground. So that's worked out really quite well. I think it's time to pack up, see if we can get to our next location. We're up against the clock today. We're kind of up against the clock today. We're trying to get there as soon as we can. So it's already 8:30. I want to try and get to Howell Tor next. That's our next point. So pack this away, and then we're good to go. Okay, so I've been looking around the quarry, and final location I think for me today, but I wasn't really going to shoot here. The reason for it is everybody seems to shoot here, and eventually you sort of end up with lots of pictures that look all the same. But I'm here and I'm going to do it anyway. And I think I can do something with this winch. Now, I've seen loads and loads of pictures of this old winch, and to be honest, they look all the same, but I'm going to try and do something a little bit different. So let me tell you what I'm thinking. I'm thinking a fairly low viewpoint, looking across the winch this way with the quarry wall and the rocks in the background. I think if I do this in black and white, I can play with the green sliders again, one of my favourite sort of methods, and actually make the foliage go almost white, or very, very light indeed. And the wall's quite light in the background anyway, so I think we can get quite a contrasty image. And then if we really boost the structure and texture and bring out the texture in the winch itself, it'll be quite good. Now, we have got a little bit of diffused light coming down from this side, so it's got a little bit of side lighting on it, and if I can use that and extract that and get the real best from that lighting, I think we can get something sorted out. So I'm going to set the camera up, and when I've got the composition set up and everything's looking good, we'll give you a shot, give you a shout. I'm just looking at a dragonfly flitting about as well. I'm going to have to decide now whether I do some wildlife photography or not. Probably won't. Right, okay, so yeah, I've set the camera up just as I said I would. I have adopted that nice viewpoint, and I think you can probably see where you are, what I'm actually thinking about doing, and the idea behind it. So the camera's got this winch, and it starts in the bottom sort of like left hand corner of the frame with one handle leading in. It goes through the almost like the sort of like Z shape of the winch itself, with the other handle pointing out of the frame. So I've got that nice dynamic composition. In the background we've got the quarry wall. We've got some foliage and grasses around it, but like I said, I'm going to play with those in monochrome and get shot of them. But what I really need to do is make sure that I bring out the textures and the shadowing and the light and the side lighting on that winch when I process it. That's going to be key to making this photograph work. It's going to be about that lighting on it. It's going to be about the texture and making it stand out against it. Because I want it to be a little bit more than just a record image of the winch. I want it to be a little bit more creative and show a little bit more of what we're looking at. So I've actually, I'm going to flip this up on the screen now, just bear with me for a minute. So I've actually taken a number of different pictures, and I've taken them varying from f4 all the way up through to f16, believe it or not, because I'm not quite sure yet what I'm going to do, how I'm going to handle the background. I think, and I'm hoping that something around f5.6, f8, with the focus point on the winch, the background will be slightly diffused and out of focus, and it will look fine. What I've done is I've also taken some at f4. Now I might get away with it because I'm the distance I am from the lens from it. I'm shooting at about 85mm f4, and I might just have enough depth of field to get the whole winch in sharp. If I don't, then what I've done is I've taken I've taken a focus bracket, and if you want to see more about focus bracketing, then you may want to watch the video which I'm going to put up on the screen for you now, just so you have a look at that. But I've shot that, and the idea behind that then is I can actually just select the ones where the winch is sharp, not worry about the background at all. As long as the winch is sharp, it's good. In fact, if I have an out of focus background, I'll be really, really quite happy with it, to include that in the focus stack. So that's it for today. That's going to be my last picture. I'm going to put the picture up on the frame and I'll leave that with you. Just want to say today's sort of walk really was, yeah, it kind of went okay. It kind of went to plan. This is a new part of Dartmoor for me. It's typically an area that's sort of traversed more by tourists to the area rather than locals who really love getting out on the moor. But we're getting to that part of the year now where everybody's starting to go home. The days are getting shorter, the sun's getting lower in the sky, and I think it might be a part of Dartmoor which I do a little bit more work on in the winter months and autumn months as they sort of develop. So I'm going to go home. I'm going to get a damn good cup of coffee when I get back there and something to eat, because I'm absolutely starving, and then we'll look at sort of processing some images and getting this picture in for you. So I'm going to put up the final picture. I'm going to leave you with that, and as always, I hope you've enjoyed this week's video, and I'll see you next time.
I hope you're enjoying the video. Maybe you would like to carry on, so try these suggestions next. I want to share more knowledge, more skills, more passion and stories about photography with you. So think about subscribing. If you do, ring the bell. It will make your subscription count. If you have time, comment. I will see you on the next video. So get out there and enjoy your photography.